You're listening to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Joe Reed. Robin Whitten is with me, and it is Golden Voice here at AudioFile magazine. Hello, Robin.
Hello, Joe.
And today we're talking about our third Golden Voice, Kimberly Farr.
Oh, yes, this is fun. I love introducing. I mean, we're not really introducing these narrators to our listeners, but
No, I don't think
to
so.
I hope not. And certainly there's much to learn about each of these narrators and their great range in audiobook narration. And I think that's one of the things that I particularly marveled about with Kimberly is that initially I think she's known for some of the literary works that she's narrated from Margaret Atwood or Elizabeth Strout or Joan Didion. But when I looked farther into her whole audiography and tried to think back over her long career, I mean, she's done so many different works from the poetry of Mary Oliver and Sylvia Plath to Anne Tyler, more literary fiction, but also historical fiction and actual real history with recently she recorded about the American Revolution in 1774. I mean, she's done a biography of the Romanovs and Queen Isabella of Spain, biographies,
And let's not forget Julia Child,
right?
dearie.
And biographies, Julia Child, which we loved, and Jane Jacobs, Hillary Clinton. I mean, she has been all of these people and told their stories. It's quite amazing. What a range.
Yeah, her range really is extraordinary, and I think it's seen so clearly in her narration of work by Elizabeth Strout, with Olive Kitteridge, and in the final book, Tell Me Everything, which just came out. When we begin with Olive Kitteridge, I think Olive herself was in her mid-30s, and in Tell Me Everything, Olive is in her 90s, and Kimberly has taken us through that. And the thing with Strout's book, they're often centered in Crosby, Maine, and characters who could have a walkthrough in one book, suddenly it's their point of view in the next. So you're constantly summoning these voices back.
Yes, that's interesting. I hope that when you interviewed Kimberly that she may have touched on that because it's such an interesting process for narrators to do that. I mean, to age characters, but also to remember w 2 or 3 books back and
Yeah.
30 years back what that character, was.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I just loved her narration of Strout. I really, really loved it very much.
Well, it's a great introduction if listeners want to start there, but, some of the biographies.
Oh, yeah, her narration, Julia Child's memoir, not the biography, which is 25 hours. Insane, but she narrated the memoir, My Life in France, and it was amazing, amazing, and I can't tell you, I think I gained, like, 5
I'm gonna
pounds while
say
I was
it's
listening to
it's got
that.
loads of food.
So much food, and a lot of French, and her pronunciation is gorgeous.
Wonderful. That is such a delight because you bring that whole story right into our lives as a listener. A great gift.
And it's also a real tap dance because, of course, you don't wanna imitate Julia Child, but you do wanna suggest her.
Right, so you have to get some that have that emotional connection to the person, and yet be careful because her voice was so familiar to many of us that you don't imitate,
Absolutely.
but you have to get across that energy and, that spirit.
Agreed. So what do you have for us to listen to?
So I particularly am enthralled with the way that Kimberly reads Mary Oliver's poetry. So And we talked about one of the other collections, I think, a few weeks ago.
Devotions, yes.
That's, yes, that's what it was. And so I picked something different from Blue Horses, which is an earlier collection. And so this is a great way of hearing how beautifully Kimberly can, give us the poet's voice and the poet's spirit of Mary Oliver.
So this is an excerpt from Blue Horses by Mary Oliver, read by Kimberly Farr.
I know you never intended to be in this world, but you're in it all the same. So why not get started immediately? I mean, belonging to it. There is so much to admire, to weep over, and to write music or poems about. Bless the feet that take you to and fro. Bless the eyes and the listening ears. Bless the tongue, the marvel of taste. Bless touching. You could live 100 years. It's happened. Or not. I am speaking from the fortunate platform of many years, none of which I think I ever wasted.
What an extraordinary thing to be able to talk about time or years and say none of which I ever wasted. I'm sure we all wish that.
I think it's quite a lovely bit. And, I think Mary Oliver's words are always so carefully chosen, and the way that Kimberly reads each word, I feel like the intent of each word comes across so beautifully.
Well, she trusts the words. She doesn't feel a need to vocally
Mm,
embellish them.
great comment. I love that. Makes me even love
Yeah.
the poetry even more, the poems.
And in Devotions, just saying to listeners, there's a compilation of all of Mary Oliver's work. In other words, work taken from each aspect of her career. And there are a lot of great dog poems.
All right, back to the dogs. I love it.
Just saying. So there you have it, our three new golden voices, Hillary Huber, Vikas Adam, and Kimberly Farr. And tomorrow, my long form interview with Hillary Huber. And it really is a lot of fun.
Oh, well, we will absolutely look forward to it. And I hope that listeners are going right out and finding all titles by these new golden voices.
Agreed. You'll have a great time. I learned so much. Books that I honestly never thought I would have much interest in, I found compelling.
Isn't that one of the greatest things about audiobooks?
Absolutely. It's what a narrator can do.
It is. We love them.
We do. Robin, I will talk to you next month.
All right, good. I'll look forward to it, Joe.
Me too. Support for Behind the Mic is sponsored by Desperate Woman Seeks Friends. Real talk about connections, rejection, and trying again for the friendships you need. Written and narrated by Kristen Strong. Available everywhere audiobooks are sold. I'm Joe Reed, and I will be here tomorrow with Hillary Huber.